Oh, hey, it's time for math. I'm just cooking some kale. Liz's favorite. I like it too. Tasty. Have you had kale before? Very healthy, high in antioxidants. You should try it. All right, I'm gonna turn this off because I do have my math book right here. I'm ready for some math lessons. Let's head in here into my dining room, classroom, multi-purpose room. All right, so our lesson today, or this morning, whenever you're watching, is introducing the minute hand. Finally, we've had the hour hand for a while, and also some digital time. I showed you my clock on Friday. It's actually working. We'll talk about that at the end of our lesson. We'll be using our demonstration clock tonight, but we're going to start with a math message, which is right over here. Let me just underline this in a different color in case you can't see it. Math message. What can you do in 1 minute? This is where you might want to pause the video and write down a few things. Think about things we can do at school in 1 minute. Think about things you can do at home in 1 minute. What does that mean to you? Let's think about that. And I'm going to write a few things here on the board, and then you can discuss those things at home with your family. So I'm going to write these things down. I'll be right back. All right, so I've come up with some things here that I could think of that we could do in 1 minute, some things at school and maybe something at home. So you could line up and walk to the restroom for morning break in 1 minute, especially if everyone is listening carefully. We can do that in 1 minute. Say the Pledge of Allegiance 4 times, not just once, 4 times. It would take about 1 minute. You could set up your spelling test paper on Friday, putting your name, putting the title, numbering 1 through 12, getting your privacy folder ready. You could do that in about 1 minute. Brush your teeth. You really should brush 1 minute. That's what the dentist says. I follow that rule. So these are things you could do in 1 minute. You maybe kind of came up with some things on your own. Maybe we can discuss those later this week. So we know there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. And to help you understand what that would mean, that would be like clapping your hands like this 60 times to reach 1 minute. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 58, 59, 60. Say it, Penny. 60 seconds. That's 1 minute. So that can give you an idea of how long 1 minute can be. Some people think, oh, that's not much time at all. You can get a lot done in 1 minute. So we know that it takes 60 minutes for the minute hand to go around the clock. So let's take a look at our clock. This reads 3 o'clock. It's the time you usually get out of school. And we've learned that the shorter hand is the hour hand. That's the hour we're in. The minute hand that we're now finally saying hello to. Hello, minute hand.
Hello, minute hand.
Is the longer hand. And as this moves around, every number on the clock is 5 minutes. And then you start to see the hour hand move slightly. As we keep coming around to the next hour, oh, it's 4 o'clock. 60 minutes have just gone by. So there's 60 seconds in every 1 minute, which stands for each little dot here on our demonstration clock. And there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, okay? All right. We're going to also investigate digital time and how that looks on a digital clock versus our analog clock. All right, let's keep moving. So here is a paper clock that I'm going to scan to your family, okay? So you can hopefully cut this out And I would like you, I put the 12 on there for you. I would like for you to label it all the way around from 1 until 11. You can cut out the hour hand, the shorter hand, and the minute hand, the longer hand. You may not have one of those little brads like we used before at your house, but you can do the best you can to put both those hands on your paper clock, okay? And I want you to do that at home if you can. If you don't have a printer, you can draw a clock yourself on paper. I've seen your drawings, you're a good artist, you can do that. So we know that each number on the clock stands for 5 minutes. And on my demonstration clock, it has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Now, let's just move it around to the next hour. On a digital clock, when it becomes the new hour, 5 o'clock, it doesn't say 5 and a 60, even though that represents the number of minutes in an hour, it's going to say 500, which of course now it's 8:25, so that's not really working for this lesson, but I'm going to show you that on the board in a second, because the second piece of paper I'm going to scan to your family for you to practice is an analog clock and a digital clock. So the number that goes over here on the left side of these 2 dots, which in language arts we call that a colon. In math, it's part of the digital clock. The hour is always over here, and on the right side are the minutes past the hour. So when it's o'clock, which is what we've learned so far this year, it is simply a 00. And I'm going to show you a few things here on the board. I'm going to erase this and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hang on. So I have over here on the board the time that we just left on the demonstration clock, 5 o'clock. And in words, it's right down here, 5 o'clock. So that's what it looks like on your analog clock. We know now the minute hand is the longer hand, and the hour hand is a shorter hand pointing directly to the 5. And the o'clock means it's the top of the hour. Maybe you've heard that phrase before. So how does that look on our digital clock, which does look a lot like this, the real digital clock that you see. It's 8:31. You see the colon right in there. All right, so I'm gonna write this up here for you. And even though we did count around on the demonstration clock from 5, because every number counts for 5 minutes, we went all the way around and we end at 60, but we don't say it's
60.
That doesn't make sense. We say it's 5 o'clock and it's 00. You probably knew that because y'all are smart first grade students. So this is what 5 o'clock looks like on a digital clock. And that's all we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about just o'clock. O'clock. There it is. 5 o'clock on the analog clock, 5 o'clock on the digital clock. So the minute hand is pointing directly to the 12. If we were in class, I'd have you all stand up and put your hand in the air for 12 o'clock and put your other hand down about right here for 5 o'clock. And we'd practice that. So 5 o'clock on the analog clock, 5 o'clock on the digital clock. This is how it looks. The right side is the minutes, the left side is the hour that you're in. And we have talked about this before in class. As you move the minute hand around halfway, think of it as a pizza pie.
It's a pizza pie.
You've just eaten half of the pizza pie.
Hey, Mom. What's a pizza pie?
What? That's what they call it, a pizza pie. A pie, a pepperoni pie, 16 inches. That's what I want. Am I done? I'm out.
I'm out.
Stop it. Stop it. therefore your hour hand has moved halfway between the 5 and 6 o'clock hour. That stands for 5:30 because we're half past the 5 o'clock hour. So we keep going. And notice how the hour hand slowly moves until we get to the top of the hour. Whoop, 6 o'clock, just like that. A whole 60 minutes just went by. So that's how the minute hand works here on the clock with the hour hand. When you're drawing the hour hand, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on your Math Unit 7 test review. I've taught you to draw a little dotted line in the middle to show half past the hour. Again, it's halfway between 6 and 7 because we've just gone halfway around the clock. So we'll do a little bit of that later. All right, so you'll get some practice with this in your math journal this week, in your home links a couple of times. You'll find that your math journal page today is 150 and your home links is 205. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of time. Hey, what time is it? Is it time for dinner? Do you want a treat? Do you do? Stand up. Can I have a high five? Can I have a high five? Thank you. Good girl. All right, I'll see y'all later. Good job.